How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of HGO, the show where we talk about everything that's hot in the world of games. I'm your host, Ethan, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host with the co-most. It's Hunter. Hey, Hunter. How you doing?
I'm doing just swell. Nice to be here today.
It's good to have you, and I'm also joined by the weeb wonder himself. It's Kyle. Hey, Kyle. How you doing?
Hey, dude. I got a new webcam.
You do have a new webcam.
And it's very nice because my old webcam used to have this little light next to it, so I never knew where to look, because otherwise I'd be looking right at the light. But now we don't have that, so...
Yeah. But hey, there you go. Now you don't... You're not going to have that problem anymore where you talk and then your face changes colour. That's one of my favourite things. Someone pointed that out to me. It was like, sometimes when you talk, you change colour, and that's like one of the greatest things
Nice.
ever. And then finally, rounding up our little group, it's the Backstreet Boy himself. He hates when I say it. It's Sam. Hey, Sam. How you doing? Doing good?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Nice, dude.
I
Nice.
like how that he hates when I say it. It's just become part of the nickname.
Yeah, it's just become part of it now, dude. It's not even like, no, seriously, dude. I really hate when you do it. Nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. That is your name. You'll live with it. You'll live with it.
I'll manage.
He knew what he was getting into when he signed up for
He knew what he was signing up for, exactly. But if you didn't know, this is Hot Gaming's Only, where each and every week we come to you to talk about everything that's hot in the world of gaming. You can find us on podcast services everywhere, including Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, you name it, we're on it. Head to Linktree, that's linktr.ee/Hot Gamers Only if you want to find every podcast service we're on. We're also on YouTube every Monday at around 5 p.m. On bit.ly/thegiggers. We're trying to get to 100 subs, so any subscriptions would be greatly appreciated. Kyle has got a goal right now that if we hit 100 subs, he'll play Mario 64. So, hey, go for that.
All 120 stars of a video game I
all
hate.
127 stars. And to get the ball moving a little bit, I am going to add on a second bounty, not for 100, but for 75. If we get to 75 subscribers, I will do, not only will I do an All Gems run of Crash 4, I'll do a drunk All Gems run of Crash 4. So, that, for those of you who are unaware, that's around a 5-hour run. So get us to 75 subscribers, and I will do a drunken run. Yo, bless you, Hunter. A drunken run of Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. So now's your time to subscribe. bit.ly/thegiggers. That would be greatly appreciated. Get us to 75 as soon as we can. That'd be great. And then 100, hopefully, real soon as well.
By the end of the year.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
This offer stays until the end of the year.
Yeah, we can hope. We can only hope. A bit of housekeeping for you. If you didn't know, we have started doing highlights on the highlights channel again. So if you go to bit.ly/HGO clips, you can go and find usually around 3 highlight videos every week that we tend to do. Some of the best bits that we do on the show every week. So be sure to go and check those out. We've also, and I don't know why we've started doing this because, hey, it's really fun doing all this content. We've started doing a second video essentially every week on the main Giggers channel now. So we had Hades. They had the Hades review 2 weeks ago. Last week we did a little tutorial. Me and Kane worked on some tutorial for the building bridges level in Crash 4 that we just thought we'd throw up and see how it did. Thank you for the support on that. And then this week we should hopefully have the Crash 4 review. I've been so busy this past week. It was supposed to be this week. I'm sorry, but I made 8 videos this week and a radio show. I couldn't hack doing the review as well. This week, maybe. I'm hoping that we can get it done. Other than that, I think we're all good in terms of housekeeping. I don't think we have anything else that we need to talk about. Yeah, I mentioned the drunk Crash 4. That'll be terrible. So please help us get there. Without that out of the way, we're not doing a topic episode this week. We're just big chilling. So everyone can sit back and relax and just shit talk. Thank you, Jack, for sending me a message. Thank you. Really appreciate that. It's a good job that notification didn't come up on the podcast. Shout out to you, Jack. Shout out to you. So we're just going to do a big chill. We're going to just talk about what we've been playing because it's been a while since we've done an episode like this, actually. So, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with... I feel like we've talked about Crash 4 a lot, so I feel like we should leave that later into the show so people don't just leave going, oh, they're talking about that shit again. So, do you want to talk about Genshin? Shall we start off with Genshin Impact?
Sure.
So, if you have been under a rock recently, basically, Genshin Impact, it kind of came... We saw it in a PlayStation State of Play or something. I don't remember where we saw it. But then it just kind of released out of nowhere. And everyone's been loving it on the internet, and we haven't really had time to talk about it. So, I know you've been playing it a lot, Sam.
Yeah.
Carl, you've also played it a little bit. And then today I played it for 6 hours, so we can do some first impressions on it. So I'm gonna throw it to you, Sam, because you probably I don't know how much time you put in. Do you know
I
roughly?
don't know either. I haven't checked. It's
So
probably
yeah.
at least like probably 20, 30 hours over the past like 3 or 4 days.
So I guess my question to you is, what is
At least
Genshin
12.
Impact? For those of for those in the audience who haven't heard of it.
Well, the simplest way to put it is that it's like Breath of the Wild, but it's anime. Um,
Even
it's
more
basically
anime.
an open world, adventure game where you can get all sorts of weapons and characters and stuff, and it's a gacha game like mobile games. So you can pull characters with the in-game currency, and you can spend money to get that currency as well. But
if you want, if you feel
if you
so
want, it's not
daring.
required. But
If you really
yeah.
want that waifu, dude. If you really want that waifu, that's the
Some
problem,
people
right?
really
Yeah.
want that waifu.
Hey man, if you're like us, you're like, hey, dude, I'll take whatever I get because I'm not paying money. But I can guarantee there's some people that are like, damn it, I want that one character. Here's my wallet. Like, here it is. Chuck my credit card at it. Here's $200. Still, I didn't get it. I got the fucking lolly instead. God damn it.
He's still salty.
Oh.
Even got a 5-star
So
Wally
that's
girl.
how that happened.
No, he's
I didn't
pissed.
give them money. I'd like to point out I have not given Genshin Impact any money. I don't have money to spare next month. I don't know if you've heard. There's this
Ethan
little
would like
indie...
to clarify that he did not give money to the lolly.
No, I did not. It did not happen. How dare you assume such a thing? No. With this little indie thing coming out called a PS5 next month, I don't really have the money to be spending on a gacha game right now. So no, I just got an unlucky lucky pull, I guess. But the one thing that's weird to me is for a free-to-play game that's basing its entire thing on gacha mechanics, right? It wants you to spend all this money. It wants to sink its claws into you, so you do end up giving them money. I'm so surprised at how far in the back end the microtransactions are. Like,
Yeah.
they're not that intrusive, really. It's just kind of crazy.
No.
And you
They
get a
don't
lot for
shove it in
free.
his face at all.
Yeah, and you can get a lot for free. Like, you get so many pulls for free anyway. It's kind of like crazy how much of a value proposition it is. Obviously, people do want to spend money on it because they made their money back in like 11 days on the entire game. The entire game was profitable in 11 days. Good job, weebs. You really did us proud there. But yeah, man, it's so crazy. So it's kind of like it's weird. Would you call it a Breath of the Wild clone? That's my question.
Not a clone, but there's a lot that it takes from Breath of the Wild for sure.
Yeah.
Like the glider, the open world mechanics, the dungeons are kind of similar.
Kind of.
There's crafting mechanics. Well, like there's cooking mechanics that are just like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
other stuff.
I think that it's weird, right? Because there's obviously the inspiration. You can tell just looking at it, even from the art style. Oh, this I can see that they basically went, oh, that Breath of the Wild did pretty well. Let's copy a load of things, which is the same thing Ubisoft's done, right? That whatever the fuck that game's called, Phoenix, whatever.
Let's just call it Gods and Monsters. I don't care what they
Yeah,
renamed it.
let's do that. Fuck you, Ubisoft. They renamed a game that was called Gods and Monsters, which was an alright name, to like Phoenix, whatever, Rising, blah blah blah, subtitle of bullshit. Fuck you, Ubisoft. So
they had a generic title and they changed it to a title that was generic and more of a mouthful.
Yeah, I think they should have stuck with Gods. That's the thing. That game's going to be interesting because that's full price, but it's weird because like it shares mechanics in similar ways, like the gliding and the climbing, and very much the world design feels Breath of the Wild-esque, but it doesn't feel the same in combat. I don't think the combat's similar at all. I feel like it's very much, instead of it being based on weapon durability and degradation, and very much building up your one character with armor and weapons, this is very much about elemental like combining elemental powers and upgrading characters, because everyone's your weapon class is basically you have 4 characters that are in your party that you can swap between at any time, and each character has a locked weapon type and class type, or essentially hunter.
Okay.
So it's instead of having different weapons all on Link, it's essentially having 4 different builds that you swap in between, and it makes for some quite interesting gameplay. I don't know, what do you have to add, Kyle? Because I feel like I'm rambling too much.
Yeah, I mean, for a free-to-play game, it's expansive.
Mm.
Just the fact that the whole game is open world and the world is really big and there's a lot to do in the world. It's not just a big open world that you're just thrown into. Like, the whole game just feels super expansive. A lot more than I was expecting, honestly.
It's
It's
so weird. It's such a weird game, and I can see why
Yeah.
people have really given it a chance. And to be fair,
Mhm.
it's 100%. If you have been itching for something like Breath of the Wild for a while, that isn't exactly Breath of the
For a
Wild, but you
while.
just like. Thank you, Hunter.
Yep.
But
I have to
if
say
you,
something. What
yeah,
do you
you
want
have
from
to,
me?
you have to. But if you've been itching for something like this, like fuck Gods and Monsters off. This is what you should go and get because one, it's free, and two, like
And also, the other game isn't out yet.
yeah, but you can fuck that off. Don't even think about it. Just go and play this because it'll scratch your itch. I don't like my one thing for you is how much do you think you're actually going to play of it? That's my question because I played 6 hours today and I was kind of into it. But it's like when is the point where I give up? Because I have a feeling I'm not going to finish this. So how long do you think you're going to end up playing it? I guess is the question. I'll throw it to both of you.
I give Ethan 3 more hours.
How
Yeah,
dare
that's pretty
you?
accurate.
How dare you? I
Hey, man.
always finish my games. I'm not like Sammy Boy over here. You should be really asking. I'm
Hey.
surprised Sam's got like 20 hours in Mr.
Hey, when I play a game and I'm committed to a game, I play it. You know how long I played P5 for?
Yeah, because I
All right.
watched all of it.
A very long time.
Yeah.
150 hours, all right?
Some might say
So-
two.
God, that was like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It was fun, dude. It was a good time.
But it was a great 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was. But no. How long do you think you're gonna play it, Sam? Like realistically, how much?
I don't
Has it
know.
hooked you that
So it's
much?
already for me, it's getting to this point
Right.
where it's getting a lot harder because I started progressing the main storyline again
Mhm.
after the prologue chapter, and things are getting a lot harder, a lot faster.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to like keep up with my character levels and stuff, but you need so many different types of resources and just like to grind different bosses to get certain things to actually increase your character levels, your weapon levels, your artifacts, all sorts of stuff. So it's just really hard to keep up. So I don't know how long I'm going to want to play it if it's that tedious. But
I mean,
How does the game go about making things harder? Are they just like, oh, yes, give the enemies more HP?
I think that's
And
basically,
basically
it.
that.
Yeah, it's basically
pretty
that.
much
Oh, great.
I mean,
played a game called Freedom Wars on the Vita that basically did that, and it made the kind of cool combat in that game pretty repetitive once you started taking forever to kill things.
Yeah, bosses so far haven't expanded past hit the thing until it has no health.
yeah.
It does
There isn't
get
really,
better
like-
with bosses. There are these elite bosses that I've gotten to that are like way harder and have way more health, and they have like specific attack patterns and different things you have to actually kind of learn in order to beat
Mhm.
them. I was playing one
Okay.
earlier. I don't know if you guys were watching, but it took me like half hour to beat him because I had
Yeah.
to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, there's a few bosses that are like, oh, shoot it in the weak point with an arrow, and then you get a free punish on it. But outside of that, like, at least so far for me, I haven't gotten to anything really too extreme.
Yeah, the more interesting
Of course,
challenge. Yeah, the more interesting
Still in
challenges.
prologue, though.
Yeah, the more interesting challenges to me so far haven't necessarily been the bosses where it's just, oh, health bar, finish it. But there's been quite a few challenges where it's like, oh, defeat X number of enemies in like a minute and a half. And those to me have
Yeah.
been more of the challenge because the game kind of says, yeah, we know that you could beat all these enemies if we gave you unlimited time. But because they put like that minute and a half on you to kill these 10 enemies, it very much forces you to think about how you're actually playing the game and not just button mash it. It kind of makes you go,
Right.
oh, I need to use these elemental abilities now. So, oh, I actually have to use my brain, which God knows, you know, I hate. But it's like, oh, I've just there's stuff like, oh, that guy's shield's made of wood. I can then set fire to the guy's shield, and
Oh, that's
his
cool.
shield disintegrates and
Mhm.
burns away. But then on top of that, I'm like, oh, but while it's burning, why don't I just fuck him up even more and switch to my wind elemental character and then blow wind in their face, so then the fire goes onto them and does major damage onto them and on top of it. And it's kind of those kind
Oh,
of
baby, you hit him with a technical.
yeah, it's basically technicals, right? But it's one of those it's a weird like kind of system, whereas instead of, I feel like Breath of the Wild wanted you to experiment with its environment and the way you go about doing things, right? So it's like, oh, there's a bokoblin camp underneath me, right? And there's a rock here, so I could very much use the physics to knock the ball into the camp and roll over all of them. Or, oh, hey, there's a lamp hanging up there. Let me shoot an arrow at the lamp so that it drops down and it lands on the explosives and blows the whole camp up, right? There's stuff like that. Whereas this game instead is not necessarily physics-based, and there's not really much physics-based puzzles or anything going on. It's more of, oh, you've got X amount of elements. Let's see how you can kind of combo them into technicals and make use of all these characters. Because at first I'm like, oh, they're pretty lenient letting you swap your characters about. And it turns out that's intended. They want you swapping all the time. They don't want you just going, this one character, this is my fucking main, and I'm not switching off them, and I'm just going to button mash. You can do that for a lot of the standard enemies, sure, but I feel the game really wants you, when it's got a larger health pool, to be swapping constantly, getting technicals, trying to swap between abilities. Everyone's got cooldowns that carry on cooling down even when you're not playing as that character. So you can use an ability swap off someone else, and their ability's cooling down in the background, when in a lot of these games, you tend to have, oh, cooldowns are stacked, so if you swap to someone else, that cooldown will stay there, and then when you come back, you still got to wait the 20 seconds. That's not how this game works. I feel like it's less, there's still stuff to explore, don't get me wrong. There's still the explorative elements of Breath of the Wild, but it's a lot more focused on the combat than Breath of the Wild was.
For sure.
The combat certainly has a lot more depth than I was even expecting it to, because like you hear the phrase free to play gotcha game
Yeah.
and your brain just like goes to the worst thing imaginable.
The Metal Gear
fucking-
exclamation mark noise, like, oh god, here we go.
Just like a pay to win game all
Uh-oh,
the
I'm
way
in
through.
danger.
But like the combat just keeps you so engaged, and thinking of how you can combine your different elements together is it's really such an intuitive concept. I'm really enjoying it a lot.
I can't wait to see how this game grows. That's the interesting thing, right? I don't see myself playing it for, say, the 100 hours I played Breath of the Wild for back in 2017. I don't see that happening. Like you say, I might only play for, like, say, 5 more hours, 10 more hours, whatever have you. But I can see myself very interested in, like, going... Especially because I will get to the nitpicks of co-op in a second. But especially in the future... Like, I can see them going, oh, we've added a new region to the map, and we've added all this new stuff. Come in and play. We've added some new heroes. We've added some new characters into the gacha so that you can give us more money or whatever. But we've added this new area. Come on in, see what it's like. And I can very easily go, I've got nothing that I've got planned to play recently. I'll hop back into Genshin.
Got a couple hours to kill.
Yeah, I can see it's very much. But yeah,
Genshin land.
There are a couple of negatives to it. One of them's the co-op, because... Not only do you have to get to Adventurer rank level 16 to start the co-op, which, what level are you, Kyle, after 8 to 9 hours of playing?
12?
Yeah,
12?
and I'm like level 11 with
Yeah,
7 hours in, yeah. Sam's got like...
25.
Yeah, well, good for you.
Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah, it must be great in your little high tower, mustn't it? With all the peasant down here, like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, fucking looking up going, I'm so sorry. No. But not only that, Hunter, this is the great part. This is the best part, right? You ready for this? It's region locked. So you have to be on the same server. Yeah, you have to be on the same server. And not only that, PlayStation accounts are just tied to the server that you're on. So American people have to play on American servers. I can switch, but if I switch, it deletes my save on the current server. So I can't even switch because I'd have to restart all over again.
Dude, you can just reset for polls. And get
oh yeah,
polls.
reset for polls, dude. Yeah, maybe this time I won't have a disgusting lolly.
Get Gene.
Yeah, maybe I'll actually have a decent, like an actual human being. No, not allowed. Not allowed. Why? But no,
that seems very.
That's
weird.
my main problem. My main problem with it right now is for a game that is entirely single player, unless you add the cooperative element into it, you don't see other people running around your world or whatever. It's not an MMO in that regard.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is it region locked? Why is it server region locked? When it's basically turning on co-op. It's like saying, oh, sorry, your Lego game's region locked. Can't help it. It's not my fault. You gotta play with someone in Europe. I'm sorry. Lego just doesn't work. It's so dumb. That's my one complaint is, oh, cool. So now I just can't play with any of my friends, essentially, that are playing Genshin. Because... hey, I was on the European server because I didn't want 250 ping. Like, it's great. But no.
I don't know. Maybe that's something that they'll fix in the future.
You hope so. You hope that's something that's easily fixable. But,
because that has to be, like, a common issue being brought up to the company.
You'd hope so, right? You'd hope so. I have a couple of other issues. Some of the voice acting, some of it's fine. whoever decided to give Paimon, your little helper, the most annoying voice in the universe, thank you for that one, because fucking hell.
Oh no.
Paimon sucks, dude. Imagine a really high pitched
sucks.
Imagine a really high pitched like generic character, right? Onto like an anime character, really high pitched, kind of speaks like this, really high, right? And then
Oh,
imagine them
no.
speaking like a Pokemon where they say their name in third person every fucking sentence. Like Paimon
It's
did this
the
and Paimon
typical
did
like
that.
anime mascot thing.
Yeah, kind of.
Yep.
Kind of. It's like if Morgana said Morgana before everything. Like, oh. You know? Imagine how much worse it'd be if Morgana was not only a prick, but then also would start every sentence with Morgana.
If he only said Morgana and it was left up to inflection.
Morgana's
and
not a
interpretation,
cat. Morgana's human. Imagine him saying stuff like that, dude.
The only time I've ever really been cool with this was in Xenoblade when Ricky did it.
Yeah, kind of, because Ricky doesn't have.
Suck. He doesn't
Suck.
True.
Yeah, his dialogue's good and he's funny, right? Whereas Paimon's just annoying.
Yeah.
He's just a really annoying character that I wish you could turn the voice off for, but you can't. It's all voices. There should be a
If you
Paimon
could just mute specific
yeah,
characters.
toggle, a
that'd be great.
Paimon toggle. They just like bloop gone, bye bye.
Like voice chat.
Yeah. Kick Paimon
Push
from
to
the
talk,
party, dude. Kick Paimon
Push
from
to
the party.
talk.
Put Paimon on push to talk. Imagine. But no.
I will say this: there are some fun dialogue options in the game. Like, there's one part, I don't remember even what the context was, but you were supposed to deliver, I think it was a book to somebody, and then you end up losing the book, and then one of your dialogue options is Paimon ate it.
Nice.
There was one where it's like Paimon is emergency food or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but no, there's
The game knows what
have
it
fun
wants to
with
be,
it,
and that's the important thing.
Well, that's good.
It genuinely does. I can't think there are very few like things like that, negative things I have to say. Like even
Yeah, I have very few like actual issues with the game, but on the whole, it's really fun.
yeah, my main issue, like even the gachapon system, which like many people were like, I love the reaction of people seeing gachapon for the first time and acting like this is a concept that you've never heard of. It's not like it's just the Japanese name for a fucking loot box, kids. Come on, like everyone's like, oh, I really want that Mercy skin in Overwatch, but as soon as they see this game, they're like, what the fuck is this shit? Like it's just not like, the same thing, right? It's just the same thing, except maybe the pull rates are even worse because my gosh,
Oh, they're fucking
bad.
abysmal.
yeah, they're pretty bad. But even that, I'm like, hey, they give you enough of the game for free that it's like,
Yeah.
it's not like they're holding you back. It's not FIFA Ultimate Team where you have to pay the EA more money to basically to beat the game. It's very much
Here, EA, have my arm.
yeah, basically. Yeah, dude. How many organs do I have left? I'm sure EA can have another one. Like that's what Ultimate Team is kind of like. But no, I feel like it's pretty fair. You get all the you get like nearly all the elements standard on the like I don't think there's any that are missing that you don't get at least one basic character for.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah, you get a lot.
they still give you enough pulls for you to get extra characters. Like I have like 4 extra characters at this point.
Nice.
I mean, I hate most
Yeah.
of them, but I have them.
Actually, honestly, you got really good luck.
I did have
You
really
did.
good luck, to be fair, but obviously not lucky enough to get the ones that I'd like. But no, it's an interesting game. Do you guys have any other negatives? I can't really think of any. I think
I mean, like, the gachapon pull rates can stand to be buffed a little bit because a less than 1% at like a 5-star character or item is
is that what it is?
kind of less than
Is
great.
that what it actually is? Wow, I'm great.
Yeah,
I'm great.
it's like 0.5%.
So good. So good.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I've just been spoiled by other gacha mobile games I've played in the past. But
I'm new to gacha, so this to me is like I don't have anything to compare it to, right?
This is the one that Gacha started.
Yeah.
haha.
But no, to me, it's like I'm not that fussed about characters and skins. Like Sam mentioned that you need dupes of these characters to level them up more, which is another problem. That's one of the problems I have. Is if you need dupes of these characters to level them up further, that's gonna start getting annoying, and that's probably the part where I'm like, well, see you later, boys. I'm out.
How does progressing your characters that you already have work anyway. Like, as far as that goes, like if you don't get a good pull, is it feasible to stay with the one that you have?
Yeah.
And it not be torturous.
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
It's
Cool.
actually really
Alright.
easy to level your characters up. They give you items that basically just max them out real quick. Like, it's not actually that hard to get them to a decent level, so that's not a worry, really. It's mainly different play styles. Like,
Yeah.
it's mainly each character. It's not just like a skin. It is different play styles. Like, one has like a raven that they can summon and fight alongside
Ooh.
you, and you can turn into the raven and start weaving in between them.
Like V.
Yeah, essentially. And then there's like
Yeah.
they all follow like a similar class system. So there's always like the wall, there's the mage, there's the big boy
Archer.
sword, dude. Yeah, the big boy sword, the little boy sword, and the archer. Essentially, like those are your classes.
The little boy sword.
And there's a javelin.
And a javelin class, yeah. Sorry, and a javelin
Yeah.
class. I haven't found the javelin class yet, but
Me either, dude.
I like the javelin. That's good.
so
I don't think they
Yay,
exist.
they don't
dragoons.
exist, dude.
Not in my game.
At least they can't hurt us, dude. At least they can't hurt us. But yeah, it's more of like play styles and skins. But to me, it's like, as someone that's not going into this game expecting to pay anything for it, it's completely fine. I feel like I'd say it's at least worth giving it a go. The performance on PS4 is a bit iffy, to say the least.
Yeah.
The frame rate's that bad that Ethan, lord of the fucking console race of not PCs for nerds, installed it on PC to handle the frame rate.
He did. It's true.
So that might be a problem. If you're a person that doesn't like, if you're someone that's like, I can only just tolerate 30 FPS, probably don't, because it drops quite a bit. And the load times are horrible, especially for you. So.
They're garbage, dude.
Yeah.
Like, over 30 seconds to load.
Yeah. Sam, we timed it. Sam
Well, the
took
good
32
news
seconds
is,
for a load. I
new
did
consoles are coming in a month, and I imagine that this thing will just kind of like shift over.
Hopefully. They did say that
Probably
they did
will.
mention that a next gen version will be coming out later down the line as well, but you'd hope that the base models at least improve it a tiny bit, at least a little bit.
Maybe the loads will be 31 seconds.
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh, man.
Wait, it would
Now
go
you're
up?
talking.
No,
it was 32 for Sam and then 6 for me. We did the
6.
same load and it took him 32 and it took me 6. So put that in perspective.
Nice.
It's pretty bad. But no, Genshin Impact. Would you guys recommend it? Giving it a go if people are interested?
I mean, it's free. You lose nothing from just trying it,
Give them your
other than like a couple hours, maybe. But
I'd definitely say
there are worse things you could do with an afternoon.
yeah, like I don't know how long you'll play it for, but hey, if you're like me right now and you're just basically sitting waiting for Miles Morales to come out, and all the other games, because the rest of October there are games like Watch Dogs and stuff coming out, but I feel like most people are waiting on these games. Like they're games like, oh, I'll get them later when they're cheaper. No one's like much must buy. I feel like the must buy games coming out are like Spider-Man and Cyberpunk, right? So if you're waiting for those games, now's the time. Just dabble with shit, This is the time. Why
Yeah.
not? Fuck it. Play it, Hunter. Haha.
I might. I'm playing other stuff at the moment.
Oh, are you now?
Come join me and Sam and not
Any hints?
Ethan.
Yeah, not me. I'm not allowed. I'm banned, dude. I'm banned.
Feels bad, man.
Nah, I'll just get it on PC and play in Europe.
That does not
Ew.
sound
Oh,
fun.
how dare you?
Hang out with Ethan.
That does not sound fun for Hunter, man.
Buddy system, dude. Buddy system.
But no, there you go. If you're wondering how we've been feeling about Genshin, there you go. You now know. You can finally play it because you were waiting for us to talk about it. I know it.
I'm glad we spent half an hour talking about this.
Hey, dude, it was main topic, dude. We had to talk about it, dude. It was main topic. We've got some other stuff. I'm going to talk about a couple of the little mini betas that I have been playing. Betas / demos. So we're going to start off, we can't stop talking about good old Kingdom Hearts, guys, because let me tell you, I have played Mom. Or Melody of Memory. Is that right, Hunter?
There you go. Yeah,
Hey.
Melody of Memories, I believe, was the order.
Gosh,
I'm glad you check with Hunter if that's the name.
Yeah, because Hunter's the one that corrected me last week, so I was like, hey, he'll know. Kyle, you just call it Mom, so I'm like, I don't even think he knows what it is.
Bro, I don't even think about that game.
Oh, well, he should, because let me tell you guys,
I don't call it anything.
Let me tell you guys, initial impressions of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory is It's actually surprisingly not a cash out. Like, it genuinely isn't. It actually has some cool gameplay to it. Do I think it's worth the full price that they're asking for? If you're a diehard that really thinks that 140 songs for $60 is worth it, go ahead. For me, I think that's still too steep. Especially when a lot of it's original music and it's not remixed or anything like the Persona. When I say original, I mean Kingdom Hearts original, right? But just in case, I thought you were like,
okay.
I'm like, yeah. They're not doing remixes.
You said original music, and I was sitting there thinking they were just making things up for that game instead of pulling from like things from the series that potentially people would want to play.
Whole Atlantica musical.
Oh,
like, oh man,
you know they're gonna
instead
be
of
in
Sanctuary, you get this little tap dance on the xylophone.
yeah.
Oh, that sounds
But
awesome. Yo, no more.
Yeah, but
Kingdom
unlike-
Hearts the musical. When?
But no, I don't know if there are actually any original songs. Like, I don't know if there's any new songs that they have made that are Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory songs, because they haven't said if there is any. There aren't any, as far as I'm concerned. There aren't any remixes. So like other JRPG like rhythm games like this, like say Persona, have like a 70% new 60-70% new song remixes, basically, where you have like dance versions of the songs, which usually slap quite hard. This game, it's like, oh yeah, I'm playing a rhythm game, but I'm also doing it to the fucking Alice in Wonderland theme from Kingdom Hearts 1. It feels a bit weird, right? It feels really weird. And it's such a weird game because it's a rhythm game, but at the same time, it does weirdly feel Kingdom Hearts because it is a combat system that just is a rhythm game. It isn't, oh, X triangle square, X triangle. It isn't just bringing up the prompts. It is, oh, your X button is still your attack button, and your circle button is still your jump button, and your triangle is still your special button, like in Kingdom Hearts 2, right? Where you're just like doing Ars Arcanum and stuff like that, like reaction commands, essentially. It's really weird where it is basically an auto-scroller combat system for Kingdom Hearts, where you're still doing the combat inputs, but it's in time with the music. And it's really weird. It feels so absurd, but it kind of works. Like, it's really weird. It's a really weird game. The 4 songs that they picked for the demo are absolutely awful. They you think they'd pick like 4 really good ones, right? But they picked like the Alice in Wonderland theme, Traverse Town, like one of the Traverse Town themes, I think.
Don't you disrespect Traverse Town?
Yeah, but it's not.
That song's great.
Not for him. It's not Traverse Town specifically. It is a Traverse Town song. I don't know.
Kyle's about to square up, Ethan. You better be careful.
What was I trying to say? What were the other 2? One was from fucking Dream Drop, so that was fun. And then another one was from Birth by Sleep, so it was real fucking quality songs on the demo. And they only showed one of the modes, which was the regular like battle mode. But it's such a weird game because the other 2 there's a boss fight mode, which I think will play similar, which is so weird. And then there's like an actual just like, I don't remember what the 3rd mode is, but it is more of a rhythm kind of game. But from what I've played, it's so weird because it is a rhythm game, but it is also Kingdom Hearts. It's such a weird thing where I was like, oh, this is just going to be like Persona dancing, right? It's just, oh, it's a rhythm game with a Kingdom Hearts coat of paint on it. But in a weird way, it isn't, because there is the combat system from Kingdom Hearts. It's not just, oh, circle. It is circle X triangle, but it isn't. I'm not thinking that in my head. I'm not going, oh, it means, oh, it's time to press X, it's time to press circle. It's, oh, I need to attack now and then jump and then dodge and then special. And it's so weird. It's such a weird game. And I feel like it's going to surprise people when it comes out. Is it worth the full price? You're going to have to judge that. Even for someone that loves rhythm games, I put fucking 60 odd hours into Persona 5 dancing alone, and I've played the other 2 as well, and put like 40 hours into both of those. I'm not going to pay for it full price because it comes out the same day as fucking Spider-Man and Call of Duty, so I'm good with that one, Chief. I'm good. But
real video games.
No, just
Oh yeah,
I'm not saying that. It's just it's a really bad time for them to release it because Cyberpunk's also out the week after, and it's just like I don't know. Only diehard Kingdom Hearts fans are going to be buying this game on launch.
I don't know. I think that Kingdom Hearts rhythm game probably services a different audience.
True.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see how well this game does. In terms of story, I know fuck all, which is usual for Kingdom Hearts.
Well, that's typical.
Yeah.
Nobody knows Kingdom Hearts' story. And if you do, you're a liar.
I am a liar. I say I know it, but even still, there's sometimes a friend will ask me a question. I'm like, fucking who knows? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's all fun and games. The more I just
Fucking
change it
cares.
anyway. But I think it's going to surprise
We'll
people. A
retcon
lot of
something
people,
else.
a lot of people, when they heard Kingdom Hearts Riven game, there were two camps. There were people like, finally, we've wanted this for a while. And the other people were like, oh, for fuck's sake, they're doing a cash grab. I actually don't think this is a cash grab. I actually think they've put a lot of time into it. And the older, like, you know how they're using the older character designs and the older models? At first, I was like, oh, why the fuck are they using the PS2 look again? The weird, like, Kingdom Hearts 1 style of anime, like, character models. I'm like, that's weird.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are. It's weird, right?
That's weird.
But when I played the game, it kind of semi-made sense because you're concentrating that hard on the music and like trying to get the inputs right. I feel like in a weird way, if it was the Kingdom Hearts 3 models and animations and style, I wouldn't be able to fucking pay attention. It's like a weird balance where I'm like, yeah, it feels cheap, but at the same time, if it was the KH3 models, I don't think it would work as well. So it'll be interesting. It's an interesting game. I think it'll surprise people. I honestly think, hey, it might actually be a better spin-off than all the fucking shitty 3DS, DS bollocks games have been, so we'll see. But no, it was interesting. I'll probably play it eventually. Don't expect first impressions here because I'm going to be poor in November, and the last thing that I want to do is spend more money on Nomura. Let's have a quick break then. Hunter, you finally finished Crash.
I did.
You rolled
and by
credit.
finish, I mean I saw the credits. I did not 100% it, and I probably won't because I want to do something else now.
You're telling me you don't have 70 hours of your life to put into Crash 4?
You're telling me you don't want to
man.
collect 400 gems?
Oh, man.
That's a lot of gems, okay? Listen, man, I liked 2 the most before because it was just a very simple, I could put an afternoon into it when I felt like, and, finish. Yeah, Speedrunners McGee here, all laughing at me because I said afternoon instead of an hour and some minutes, but,
An hour and 17 minutes. Yeah.
I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. Just saying, just kind of.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It was fine as like a casual playthrough, though. I liked it in that regard. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to care to do the Monster Collectathon. It might be something I chip away at when I'm hanging out elsewhere and just kind of like take the game with me and be like, I'll play a couple levels of that since I'm not doing anything else.
Did Kyle's webcam die? Oh, Kyle's dead.
Oh, Kyle, no.
Oh no.
Oh, Kyle's back. Hey, Kyle.
Heyo.
I'm hoping that fucking saves the recording, or we're fucked. We're just gonna keep going.
It should. I didn't go anywhere. So.
Oh, did you not? Okay. Well, assume that
No,
you're good
I'm
then.
still
By the way,
going.
your
This
webcam
webcam
is
still
fucking
isn't
dead, so
moving.
restart because you are literally just giving us like a grimace of death right now, dude. You are literally like giving us a grimace.
He's
of
just
death.
over there like,
Oh,
give
you
me your
messed up the
liver.
Discord. Yeah, oh, there he is. You were literally just
Alright,
looking at the
welcome back,
webcam and just
Kyle.
smiling, dude. It was kind of creepy. Not gonna lie.
Sorry, man.
But no, it's like every other Crash game I feel like is a complete it in a day kind of game, right? Where it's like it's really short. This
Yeah.
game really is a fucking beast in terms of length. Like it's so
I mean,
long.
if you want to, the value for the price is there at least, I'd say.
I feel like it's one of those questions where I've been talking to people about.
Although whether or not you think it's worth it to
Yeah.
do is a different question.
Is they definitely were like, okay, if we're doing a full price Crash game, we really need to make sure that people feel like it's worth the money by putting a lot of content in it. I'm like, yeah, you did that. There's a shit ton of content. But at the same time, I'm also like, how much of this, though, do people want to do if they're not like hugely into Crash, right?
Yeah.
It's like how much content is too much before your game starts to become just bloated.
Yeah.
With pointless content.
Which I have to say, to be fair to them, all of
at least
the
that
bloated
other stuff
content,
isn't like locking off progression, though.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
All of the original levels you can play without touching inverted mode at all. And you don't even have to touch the other characters' levels if you don't want to. There's 2 of each character that you have to do in the game. But all the other alternate timelines you can completely avoid if you don't want to. I feel like they have done a good balance of saying, okay, here's the main path. If you want to, do everything else and go fucking crazy, go for it. But you don't have to. And I feel like the recommendation from me is don't do it all in once. Fucking don't.
Yeah.
You'll feel burnt
Just
out.
just kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
Don't bother with getting everything because
It's an
it's not
additional.
worth it.
Inverted doesn't change things up enough for you to say, oh, I've just finished the game and getting all the regular gems. I'm now going to do the exact same for the clear gems, because you're just going to play the exact same level again with a different hidden gem location, which chances are is in a bullshit place that shouldn't be a hidden gem. But the content's there, man. Like, that's my thing with this game is, which you'll see in the review next week, is it's not my favorite Crash game, but I'm finding it really hard to not make the argument that it's not the best. I feel like it, in terms of quality and in terms of content, I don't think that I can say without feeling like I'm lying to myself and being nostalgia blind that the other Crash games are better. I don't think I can. It's a weird place where, yes, I love Crash 2 a lot. And it works. Like, there's great things about Crash 2. There are bad things about Crash 2. I'm very nostalgic towards Crash 2. But in terms of Crash 4 and its level design and just the amount of sheer content and the fact that it's not a broken fucking mess at all, like the fact that it shipped in the way that it did, I'm finding it really hard to say, even though it's not my favorite Crash game, I can't see how I can't say that as a game, standalone, it's the best game in the Crash franchise. It's really hard for me not to say that. It's weird. But yeah. Sam, have you had any more time to think about your feelings about Crash?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you, and what you said about like burning out, like that's exactly what happened to me. Like I played 4 or 5 days straight, and I was just like, I want to do something else for a bit, because it's just once you get to those last like 3 islands and you're just doing the same level 2 or 3 times in a row to get everything, and then you miss like one thing or you die one too many times, and it's like, well, time to do it all again. It's just like, why do I even bother?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't
So,
know.
it's a great game though. It's so good.
It is. It's really good. It's in such a weird place where I don't think anyone was expecting us to be like, oh, maybe there'll be too much content. You know, maybe there'll be too much there. I don't think anyone was expecting that going in, and it's really weird. I guess a good follow-up question, because you can write in, by the way, to the show if you want to, using the hashtag HotGamersOnly on Twitter, or if you are more into the email stuff, you can email us hotgamersonly@gmail.com if you really want
just
to.
drop it in a YouTube comment.
Or just drop it in the comments. Hey, your pick. We don't judge. But F Timelines wrote in on Twitter and asked us, how many of you, if any, will be learning to speedrun the game? And I think this is an interesting question, because it's do you ever see yourself running this game, Sam? That's my, because it's like, it's such a long
I don't.
game.
It's too long, and honestly, when it comes to like the speed and the movement, it doesn't feel as fluid and just as enjoyable as a game like Crash 2. Like, it's Crash 2 is just a one of a kind game, and there's never going to be a game like it ever again. So I can't just say that I'm going to speedrun the next Crash game without, actually feeling it and testing it and really falling in love with how it plays. And this game is just not that for me. And I really don't like how the time trials play either. That's another thing about the game that's probably like the one major thing I don't like about the game is the time trials.
Yeah, max percent is just a no-go in this game. There's no chance in hell that 106 I would even do it once, never mind ever, like, do it consistently. There's just no way. That is at least a 10-hour run. At least a 10-hour run.
It's just too long.
It's way too long. Any percent I've dabbled in, and I kind of like it, but it's not a category that you can play for months and months and be like, oh yeah, this is progress all the time. It's just eventually it gets a bit boring, and I do want to return to it and get a decent enough time, but I don't see there being much life in it. I feel like the category that will have the most life in it is all gems, which is essentially all the gems in all the regular versions of the level, and that's it. It's basically old 100%, but it's not 100% because that's not how the game's percentage works, essentially. And that is still going to be about a 4-hour run, a 3.5-hour run. It's still going to be a long boy, so I don't see myself like fully doing that consistently. I just don't think I could, even though there is a pee break in the game, which is nice. I'm gonna shout outs to the P break. Shout outs to the entropy fight having a minute-long grind rail section beforehand where you have to do nothing, because that is a great P break in the middle of the run.
Oh
I
my
appreciate
God.
it.
The entropy fight was interesting. I enjoyed it.
I think it has the best boss fights in the franchise, to be honest.
Yeah,
Easily.
I agree.
Not
All
even.
of
I
them
mean,
are
it's
really
not a hard
nice.
fucking hurdle, right? It's like they had to.
No,
It's
the
not
boss
like
fights are almost nothing in
they're
this
all
series.
garbage in most of the Crash games. The boss fights in this game are actually really good. There's not a single one where I'm like, it's a bit like even Entropy, which is a bit easy and it's just a bit, it's fine. It's still a good boss fight compared to what we're used to getting, like Tiny and Ripperoo and fucking Dingo Dow, where you just
It
jump
does a good
over his
job of using all
icicles.
the masks to its advantage there.
Especially in the final fight. I love the
Yeah.
final Cortex fight. They're both
Yeah,
are really
it's-
good, but
Those
that
last
final
two are
Cortex
both
fight
real good. Yeah.
is really good. But no. So there you go. Will we be running it? Probably not. I'm not even going to ask Kyle because I know the answer's no.
I mean, if we got a bunch of people together and did like a big any % race, like I'd probably take part in it once I beat the game. Just like for fun, any % races on the side.
Yeah.
But like on the whole, like the game just didn't click with me.
Mm-hmm. The length just doesn't help either. The length,
Yeah.
it's so long that it's just not going to happen. So yeah, and God knows what Jack thinks. I'll have to ask him next time. Well, thank you for the tweet. Appreciate it. There you go. Don't say I never answer any of your questions, because I will if you actually ask me. There you go. It's funny how that works, right? It's funny how you ask and you shall receive, probably, if I remember to read your tweet out or comment. So there you go. Feel
Good
free
work,
to
Ethan.
Maybe, perhaps.
feel free. I'm just trying to think. We've talked about our main kind of topics. Last thing I've been playing was I dabbled with the Cold War beta again. I'm doing it so you don't have to, guys. You're welcome.
Thank you for your service.
I even because
Thank you, Nostalgia Critic.
because I destroyed my controller the other week playing Crash 2. I had to buy a new controller, so I had an L3 button to actually play this beta.
Yo.
There you go. New controller.
It's a nice
Oh,
controller.
who needs L3 anyway? That's
I
just
do
the
to sprint.
button.
Yeah, exactly. I needed it to sprint because the maps on this game are huge.
Man,
It's Call of Duty, man. It's pretty good. I'm surprised how good it is, seeming the fucking dumpster fire of a development cycle this has gone through. And the one thing that I will say about it is that the main menu music has no right to slap as fucking hard as it does, dude. Like, honestly. Like, I don't think since like Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 I've heard a COD theme where I'm like, oh yeah, this shit's actually pretty good. Whereas this is actually slapping. Like, I'm like, this isn't Call of Duty? Fucking hell, dude. It's like 80s synthwave pop mixed in with like a cool. It's so weird. It's so weird, but it's so
that sounds
good.
rather Cold War-y.
Yeah. It really does feel fit the Cold War theme. But to just be like, oh yeah, I'm in the lobby waiting to play a match of Call of Duty, and there's just synthwave in the background, just like kind of playing, and they've mixed it into a Call of Duty theme, so it still feels Call of Duty-ish, but it's like mixed in. It's so, I have to say, fair play, because whoever composed that done a damn good job, dude. Damn good job. And the rest of the game's pretty good. It's Call of Duty. Although I did skip Call of Duty last year because no zombies, no buy. I pay full price for a shitty side mode, not for the real thing. But no, it's pretty good as far as I can tell. So if you're into Call of Duty, you'll probably like this one. Although knowing that everyone hates Call of Duty when they play it, so it's one of those weird series where everyone loves to hate playing it. That's the thing, right? It's like, I've never heard one person go, oh, I love playing Call of Duty. I have a really good time and I just chill with my mates and, oh, yeah, we have a blast. It's no, I fucking hate it, but I buy it every year.
I mean, a lot of people, if it's like the only thing that they play, regardless of what game it is, they seem to love hating to play it. You ever hear someone with playing one of those live service games actually sound like they're having fun?
No. No. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the same way, where I'm like, oh,
We all hate Crash 2.
Hell yeah.
Everyone knows that's the biggest live service game on the planet, dude.
It's true.
Yeah.
But no, that's all I had to really say on Cold War. It's pretty good.
When are they going to patch in more flamingos?
Who knows, dude? Who knows? You'll have to ask Andy Gavin. Hunter, have you played anything else? To wrap
Besides
up?
Crash, I've started to go back to Bug Fables because I never finished that.
I need to go back to that too.
Yeah. How are you
Yes,
finding it? We'll quickly
I
talk about it.
am enjoying it. It's still got all the cool little Mario or Paper Mario aesthetics, and the main cast is still really the thing about the story that I like. All of them have moments that were pretty solid character moments that hit harder than I thought they would, honestly. Like, I
Yeah.
could see where they were going as far as what a lot of it was going to be, but I was like, oh, this is still kind of nice. Good for you.
Because, yeah, you picked that up a while ago, right? It was.
Yeah, it was back right before I played Persona 5. I was off in Texas for a little bit, and that's what I was playing while I was there. And then I came back and I was like, time to play Persona.
Like
Yeah,
everyone,
I
you
started
go for
playing it right after Persona, and then I just kind of fell off.
Yeah, dude, it's you never do it, dude. It's the post Persona depression of this isn't Persona. I hate whatever game I play exactly after it. Dude. That's
So I just waited
I mean,
for a little bit, and then by the time I started to make progress in it again, like Tony Hawk or something came out, and then games just kept releasing, like Tony Hawk, then Hades, which I was not going to put down for Bug Fables. Sorry to say.
how dare you? Think of the poor Bug Fables, dude. Think of the poor Bug Fables.
I'm going to finish it now before I move on to something else.
I mean,
okay?
they've already got your money, so I'm sure they're perfectly fine with it.
Yeah. Because there is like a solid little month until something new comes out that I care about, so I've got a little bit of chugging
It's only
through
Spider-Man, dude. It's only Spider-Man. You can push Spider-Man, right?
Well, and then like a week later, Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, God. I forgot about Hyrule Warriors. It's like every time I think about this year, I'm like, oh, there's not that much left, right? It's going to be a slow rest of the year. And then I look at the list of games. It's like Hyrule Warriors, a little game called Spider-Man Miles Morales, a little indie game called Cyberpunk 2077.
I would say Chris Tales too, but that got delayed.
Yeah, Chris Tales got delayed.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, feels bad. And then on top of that, you also have your standard yearly releases of like Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed. Watch Dogs is finally getting another game after 4 years, which is like finally a new Watch Dogs. I'm actually excited for a Ubisoft game for once in my life because it's been 4 years. So that's fun. There's so much coming out this year, and it's kind of crazy. And Bugsnax, everyone's favorite game of the year.
Oh yeah.
Already sent the award in the post. It's already won.
Dude, not gonna lie, I kind of forgot that Bugsnax was coming out until the theme song came up while I was driving. It just came up on shuffle, and I'm like, oh yeah, this game's coming out.
I love the idea that you have Bugsnax in your playlist, man. So
do you not?
No,
Bonito, isn't it? Of course.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know if I'd be able to survive. Bugsnax was in my playlist, to be honest, dude.
Ethan, there was the one time we were chatting, and that's like all you said for an hour.
Yeah, I listened to it. I listened to it for a solid hour, but then I was like, okay, I need to get this out of my brain. Detox, Hunter, detox, cleanse the Bugsnax out of your system.
I mean, it's like a 300 song playlist that I just throw on shuffle every time I go driving. So
yeah, you have that one.
Fair play if Bugsnax comes up.
Yeah, but then you'd have that one time, right? You can just imagine it now. You're just like, oh yeah, I've agreed to go somewhere with a friend. I'm gonna drive. Oh, let's listen to Spotify. Put on the Spotify, and you're on an hour drive, and you're about 32 minutes in. I don't know why I'm being so specific with the time, right? You're about 32 minutes.
The rain is coming down.
You're just Africa by Toto. You're living life. You're loving it. What a riot! And then out of nowhere, the Bugsnax theme comes on. That's the horror story. Dude. That's the horror story. Can you imagine? Could you spend the next 28 minutes of the drive not in shame? That's what I want to know.
So, I don't need to imagine this because it's happened.
Oh my god.
I was driving with Jacob over to like a frisbee disc golf course because he wanted to practice and he needed a buddy. So he drove there and I was in charge of music. Threw that playlist on shuffle, Bugsnax.
Nice.
See,
And I'm like, I don't care. We're listening to it. Nah, he likes my music.
Yeah, the mood whiplash with people is always fun.
Hey.
Like, I'll get kind of...
hey, dude. Fair play.
Don't even like I have shown him so many songs. I got him into Jules and Adri's covers, so
Oh,
fair play.
nice.
I also introduced him to Devil Trigger.
Doing God's work.
Doing God's work. God.
Bang, bang, bang.
Well, there you go. Bugsnax, everybody. Don't forget Game of the Year. I'm gonna wrap up here because we're just chatting shit at this point. And I feel like we've done enough. Hunter, where can people find you?
YouTube.com/ReaperHunter23.
Very cool. Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at KDavisSRL, and you can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/KDavisSRL. I was running out of breath while I was talking.
Nice. Sam, where can people find you?
In the bin.
In the
Oh, man.
But no, twitch.tv/back once every 3 months or so.
Yeah, thanks. That's the first time someone has not. That's the first time someone has given me a fucking joke of an answer, dude. I actually 31 episodes in. That's the first time I've asked someone.
Go team.
Yeah, dude, and someone's just like, yeah, fuck you. You can find me at Chaotic Ether on both Twitter and Twitch. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little sub goal going on right now too. Now, I guess technically, can you get us to 100 subs? If you get us to 75, I'll do a Drunk Crash 4 All Gems run. If it gets to 100, Kyle will play Super Mario 64, 120 stars. He'll really have fun with that one. He loves that game, so please do it to me.
I love
really
that
happy.
game. It's the best game on the planet.
Remember, you can find us on podcast services and YouTube every Monday at 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, be sure to check us out every week. Leave us a like, leave us a rating. We really do appreciate it. And be sure to leave us a comment. And thank you,
Have we settled on a time for the video version?
Pardon? I haven't set a time yet. It did kind of the same, but we got more likes, so that's weird. But thank you for the support.
Yeah, go team.
I can't tell if that's just because everyone really liked last week's episode or not. I guess we'll find out this week. I'll put it at 5 p.m. this week, and we'll see what happens. Right? We'll just do it in the normal time, and we'll see what happens. Why not? I love to live life dangerously. Why not? Fuck with the algorithm a bit.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love. Can't do it anymore. I'm losing the will.
Oh no.
It's happening.
Live, laugh, lose.
Live, laugh, lose. Thank you. But yeah, you can find us every Monday at around 5 p.m. on podcast services, 12 p.m. Eastern. And then video goes up at some point afterwards, maybe at 5, maybe at 7. Who knows? I'll trust to follow us on Twitter at Hot Gamers Only, and then you can find out. Happy now, Hunter. There you go. Win-win. Ring-a-ding that bell, or whatever the fucking people say, you know? Ring that bell, get those notifications going, because, man, you don't ever want to miss an episode of Hot Gamers Only. You never want to miss it. Great content.
You'll miss out on some great lore. Some
great lore. We're going to ask you in like 25 episodes time, what was the story about Bugsnax in the car? And anyone that banned.
How many minutes into the drive?
How many minutes? Exactly.
Dude, I have no clue.
Now, how many minutes in my imaginary story? 32 minutes. Write it down, kids. We're giving you the cheat sheet. I'm done.
That was also how long it took my game to load in Genshin.
32 minutes?
32 seconds.
Close enough. That's actually quite worrying, dude. That's quite worrying. I just picked 32 out of nowhere. Oh god, this is trippy. We've had enough. We spent too much time. It's time to leave.
I noticed it right away.
It's time to stop.
It's time to stop. We've had enough. That's enough HGO for this week. We'll be back next week with probably a topic because there's no games coming out yet, so we're pretty safe on the money with that regard. So we'll be back next week for more.
Something spooky.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But until then, thank you ever so much for listening / watching. We'll be back next week, and we'll see you then. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.